All right, Hornady Critical Defense 45 Colt versus 45 Auto. Now, I know I've ran this 45 Auto in testing before, but I wanted to compare it in one test at the same weather conditions and all of that to the 45 Colt version. Now, at first I always thought that this was the same bullet as this because it has a cantilever on the bullet on the 45 Auto. And I still think it is, but it shows the sectional density a little bit lower on the 45 Colt. So my guess is they're using the same bullet, but maybe squeezing this through a resizer real quick just to take off like 2 1/1000ths of an inch. So we're going to compare it, and these are both 185 grain. That's why I thought they might be the same bullet. So we're going to see what we get. We got our 5.3 inch Glock 41 for the 45 Auto and our 2 3/4 inch Smith & Wesson Governor for the 45 Colt. And how you might think, well, that's not fair, but you know, there's a lot of cylinder in there. You have pretty much the same size guns here, so in that regard it is kind of fair. So I'm going to go through the chronograph, see what kind of velocity and accuracy I get with these two cartridges. Then I'm going to do my 10% clear ballistic test, which contains 4 layers of denim followed by 3 inches of clear ballistics to represent hitting a pectoral muscle, followed by a 1/4 inch MDF to represent hitting ribs or sternum, and to more clear ballistics. We'll do a shot with this to simulate hitting a chest shot, and then we'll do a shot without this to simulate hitting a gut shot, or you know, basically your standard clear ballistic test. And I'll shoot from 25 yards at my full-size steel silhouette to see what kind of practical accuracy I get. So let's get started with this test. All right, first up we have our 45 Auto. It is rated at 1,000 feet per second. I'm about 5 yards from the target, 4 yards from the chronograph. Let's see how close we get to 1,000 feet per second. And my Glock 41 here. 1032. 1033. 1025, 1013, 997. So that last one's a little bit low, but overall not too bad. Let's see how our 45 Colt does. All right, 45 Colt rated at 920 feet per second. Let's see how close we get to 920 feet per second out of this Governor here. And by the way, this particular round was created specifically for judges and governors. I read that on some of Hornady's old literature, so that's just something to keep in mind. So let's see how close we get to 920 feet per second. No read. No read. No read. No read. That's very interesting, isn't it? So let me back up from a little bit of distance. My only thought here is there's probably some smoke and powder coming out from the barrel being so short, and it's not reading. So let me try a couple more. All right, I'm about 8 yards from the target. Now, this should read if I can get a round over the sensor. So let me try. That ain't right. 933, we got one at least. I'll take that one. It sounded about right. So pretty close, but we're losing, you know, maybe 80 feet per second off the 45 Auto. So let's hit our ballistics gel block and see what we get with these rounds. All right, first up we have our 45 Auto through 4 layers of denim, 3 inches of clear ballistics, 1/4 inch MDF into more clear ballistics for our ribs or sternum shot. See what we get with this 45 ACP. All right. All right, so here's our MDF. We definitely have expansion in that first 3 inches there. And what we're seeing here is we have a total damage path of about 13.5 inches. So that's not too bad. Our bullet stopped more at about 11 inches. So let's do our quote-unquote gut shot with no MDF and see how that compares. All right, no MDF, just our gut shot. Let's see how this will do this way. All right. Yeah, that's interesting. I think I went out the side and I thought I heard something hit one of my metal signs back there. So let me do another shot. Here we go. Try it again. All right, with our MDF, we had about 13.5. With this, we have a damage path of about 16 inches. So overall, that's pretty much perfect. That's what we want to see for a really good defensive round. So that's not bad at all. Let's see how our 45 Colt does. All right, 45 Colt, essentially the same bullet, only just a little bit slower. We're gonna go through our MDF, so let's see what we get with the 45 Colt. All right, it arced down, but we caught it definitely. But we're not seeing any expansion on that bullet through our MDF. You can definitely see that here, possibly tumbling as it hit that first 3 inches there. So I got a couple more rounds of these. Why don't I try that one more time through our MDF, see if we can repeat those results before we move on to our quote-unquote gut shot. So let me try again. All right, one more through our MDF, see how it does. And we got the same thing there. So first one was at about 14 inches, second one damage path about 16.5. So let's try it without the MDF and see how it does. All right, no MDF, just our gut shot. Let's see how it does. And we hit about 20 and a quarter inches. I expected that, to be honest. So we can definitely see our expansion threshold is above, you know, at 933, I believe it was, feet per second. But going down to about 1,000 feet per second with the 45 auto, we get expansion. So yeah, we're getting okay performance though, because even though we didn't get expansion, there's all kinds of, you know, as Dan the Wolfman would say, tissue crush going through there. There's a lot more damage there than what I've seen with some expanding 9mm hollow points. So it's not a complete failure. We just didn't get, you know, a whole lot of expansion. Pretty much none, actually. So let's shoot from that 25 yards, see how we can do with these rounds. All right, 25 yards from the target. To be honest, this is actually a more legitimate part of the testing than the gel test, because shot placement is important. That's more important than what a bullet does after impact. So sometimes you get rounds that don't act quite right. So 25 yards. Let's see how this 45 does in my Glock here. That was on me. I definitely pulled that. All right, not too bad overall. See how our 45 Colt does. Yeah, I pulled that. My sight alignment was a little bit to the right when I pulled that trigger. So this has just a tad more recoil. Not unbearable, and I don't necessarily think it has more recoil. I think it's just that grip is slimmer. It slips out a little bit more than that Glock, but overall not too bad at ammo. I was kind of disappointed considering the fact that this 45 Colt was actually designed with the originally with the Taurus Judge in mind, and it didn't really perform out of this. So I think they should add a little more velocity to that, probably. Either that or bring it down to maybe a 165 grain bullet. I think that would take care of the issue with this. But our 45 auto did excellent. It's one of the most excellent rounds I've tested. You know, a lot of 45 autos don't want to expand. That one seems to expand every time. So take it for what it is. You know, both did okay. So that's what you get today. So as always, comment, share, and like, and thanks for watching.